Aliens see Earth's weak army, tanks sitting still in the sun, soldiers standing like statues, helicopters barely moving. They laugh. They think Earth is soft, slow, defenseless. But what they don't know is that every tank, every soldier, is hiding something they will never forget. In less than 5 minutes, the hunters will become the hunted, and the aliens will beg to leave alive. Welcome to Humanity Prime HFY, where we tell the stories the galaxy doesn't want you to hear. I'm your narrator, your voice in the fire, the one painting the picture you're about to see. So, sit back, hold on, and let's begin the story. The alien fleet hung in the high blue sky, huge black shapes against the sun. From the ground, they looked like shadows of monsters that had crawled out of some other world. And in a way, they had. Inside the Vexar flagship, General Jur leaned forward in his seat, mandibles twitching. Through his wide viewport, Earth's desert stretched forever, dotted with lines of human soldiers, tanks, and 2 small helicopters swaying in the dry wind. He laughed. It was not a warm laugh. Is this it? This is the army of your planet? His officers joined in, deep alien voices rumbling like drums. One of them spat something in their own language, roughly translating to, "I have seen stronger prey in our hunting pits." Down on Earth, the soldiers didn't move. The tanks stayed still. It looked boring, too boring. In the human command room, Captain Rachel Vega stood at the head of the glowing war table. Her black combat uniform hugged her frame just right. Not regulation tight, but tight enough to draw the occasional glance. Her hair was tied back, her eyes locked on the holographic display of the alien ships. She smirked. Let them enjoy the view. A young communications officer leaned toward his buddy and whispered, "View of the aliens, or view of her?" The buddy tried not to grin. "Both, and only one of them is dangerous." Rachel pretended not to hear, but her lips curved. The truth was, she wanted the aliens to think they were winning already. Above the desert, the alien ships shifted, lining up in an arrow formation. Jur tapped a claw on the table. "Land the first wave. I want them to see us walk across their soil." With a thunderous hum, the Vexar drop pods detached, round black seeds falling from the sky. They hit the ground hard, hatches hissing open, steam pouring out. Alien soldiers emerged, tall, armored, weapons that glowed at the edges. The humans didn't move. Not a single tank rolled forward, not a single rifle fired. Jur's mandibles twitched again. They are frozen with fear. In the command room, Rachel rested one hand on the edge of the table, leaned forward, and pressed the comm button. Her voice rang out across the battlefield, carried by hidden speakers no alien could see. "Hello there," she began softly, almost like she was welcoming them to a bar instead of a war zone. "You've come a long way to see us. I hope you like what you're looking at." Several alien helmets turned in confusion. The translators sputtered, catching the meaning, but not the tone. She continued, voice dripping with slow, dangerous amusement. "You must be thinking, is this all Earth has? That we're weak, that we're slow, that we're easy." A ripple of uneasy laughter spread among the human soldiers. The aliens didn't like the sound of it. Rachel straightened. Her hand brushed the zipper of her jacket, pulling it down an inch. The move wasn't about comfort. It was about control. But here's the thing, sweetheart. Sometimes the quiet ones bite the hardest. From the alien side, sensors kept scanning, finding nothing unusual. No hidden weapons, no energy spikes. It was perfect. The alien commander on the GR barked orders. His soldiers began to advance, slow, confident steps. The desert crunched under their boots. Rachel's voice dropped to a whisper, but the mics made it sound like it was being spoken right into every alien ear. "Come closer, just a little closer, I promise. You'll never forget this moment. Some alien troops smirked behind their helmets. One even muttered to his comrade, "Humans like to talk. We will shut her up." In the command room, Rachel's eyes didn't blink. Her fingers hovered above a small red switch under a protective cover. The first alien was now less than 20 steps from the front line of human soldiers. The sun flashed off his armor. Behind him, the second and third waves were spreading out, ready to surround the humans completely. Rachel's lips parted, but instead of speaking, she simply tapped the side of her headset. Every tank engine on the field roared to life at once. The ground shook. Alien helmets turned sharply. Their scanners screamed warnings. Rachel finally smiled like a cat that had cornered a mouse. "Game time, boys!" The tanks began to roll forward, their cannons already locking targets. Soldiers who had been standing like statues moved with sudden precision, rifles up, eyes locked forward. From the alien flagship, Jur froze in his seat. This was not the army he had scanned. In the desert wind, Rachel leaned closer to the mic, her voice a slow purr. "Still think we're easy?" The first cannon fired. The battlefield erupted in fire and dust. Aliens scattered. And yet, what came next would be even worse for them. Because the tanks weren't the deadliest thing Earth had brought to the fight. The desert exploded in light and sound. Tank shells slammed into the ground between alien ranks, throwing dirt and armored bodies into the air. Helicopters roared overhead, their rotors slicing the dry wind, missiles streaking toward the advancing troops. The alien formation shattered in seconds. This was not the slow, weak army they had mocked minutes ago. This was something else. Something alive. General Jur's mandibles froze mid-twitch. "Impossible," he hissed. "Their weapons are primitive. They should not be doing this much damage." But the battlefield didn't care about alien logic. Rachel Vega stood tall at the war table, watching every explosion like an artist admiring her own painting. The glow from the screens lit her face and made the small bead of sweat on her neck shine. She didn't bother wiping it away. A voice crackled through the comms. "Sergeant Cole, down on the front lines. Captain, tanks are moving in fast. I think they're scared." Rachel tilted her head, her smirk never fading. "Of the tanks or of me?" Cole's laugh was almost drowned out by the gunfire. "Both, ma'am. Definitely both." She liked that answer. Outside, the bait tanks were doing exactly what she'd planned. They weren't just firing blindly. Each shot was calculated, meant to herd the alien forces into narrow lanes that led straight toward hidden artillery buried under the sand. Alien squads tried to flank left. The ground there suddenly erupted. Hidden mines launching steel fragments at lethal speed. They tried to flank right, only to run into camouflaged missile trucks that seemed to appear out of nowhere. From above, the scene was chaos. From Earth's side, it was a perfect trap closing. One alien captain on the ground pointed toward the human command room, his voice full of hate. "Find her. She commands them." Rachel noticed the sudden movement on her tactical display, a spike of alien troops pushing toward her building. She leaned over the table, the zipper on her uniform slipping just a little lower as she did. The young comms officer behind her coughed and looked away too late. She caught it in the corner of her eye. "Eyes on the screen, soldier," she said without turning her head. "Unless you think I'm more interesting than this war." He muttered something about hard choice. Rachel pretended not to hear, but she did. "Surprise me." The feed from Cole's helmet flashed on one of the side screens. He and his squad moved like ghosts between the tanks, popping up to fire, then vanishing behind armor. Alien soldiers fell one after another, their glowing rifles clattering onto the sand, but more were coming. Rachel's mind raced. If they pushed through Cole's position, the aliens could breach her command room in under 2 minutes. The war table's central screen flashed red. Alert. Enemy artillery charging. Xur had finally decided to fire back, and whatever weapon they were using was not small. Rachel straightened, grabbed the mic again, and spoke into the battlefield channel. "Attention, all alien units. I know you came here expecting a quick win. You were going to crush Earth and brag about it later. But right now, I think you're wondering if you made a very big mistake. The translator bots on the alien side caught every word. Some alien soldiers froze mid-step. Others hissed angrily through their helmets. She continued, her tone slow, almost seductive. You see, we don't fight because we think we can win. We fight because we know you'll regret trying. Her words weren't just aimed at their ears, they were aimed at their pride. General Jur slammed one clawed hand onto the control table in his flagship. Enough! Charge the primary cannon! End this! Rachel saw the spike of energy readings on her display. Her eyes narrowed. This was it. If that alien weapon fired, the tanks, the soldiers, even the command center could be vaporized in seconds. She looked around at her men, calm but serious. Time to show them the other surprise. Her hand hovered over a second switch, one she'd been saving. It wasn't connected to the tanks. It wasn't even connected to the soldiers. No one in the room, except her, knew exactly what it would unleash. The alien cannon's charge meter on. The screen hit 90%, 92%, 95%. Rachel's smirk returned. Let's give them something to remember Earth by. Her finger pressed the switch. The click of the switch was quiet, but what it triggered was not. Deep underground, far below the command center, massive steel doors slid open. Hidden silos that had slept for years came alive with a low, dangerous hum. Outside, in the desert, the alien soldiers paused mid-step. The ground beneath them vibrated, not from the tanks this time, but from something much deeper. From the Vexar flagship, General Schur's tactical officer scanned the readings. Something is moving under the surface. Schur's mandibles twitched. Ignore it. Fire the cannon. Back in the command room, Rachel watched the alien charge meter hit 98%. Her voice was calm, almost playful. Let's see if they like surprises as much as I do. The first silo hatch burst open. A long, sleek missile, painted matte black with a shark's mouth design, rose into the sunlight. Then a second, then a third. Sergeant Cole's voice came over the comms, low and impressed. Captain, you didn't tell us you had those. Rachel grinned. Some things are more fun when they're a surprise, Sergeant. Her words carried just enough of a double meaning that a couple of nearby officers smirked, even with the battlefield burning outside. The alien cannon on the flagship hit full charge. A glowing sphere of white-blue energy formed at its mouth. It looked like a miniature sun, and it was pointed right at Earth's command center. Jur hissed, "Fire!" But before the order could echo, Rachel gave her own. "Launch them all!" The desert lit up as the black missiles shot skyward, their engines screaming. Dust clouds swallowed the alien infantry. Soldiers shielded their eyes, tanks held position, everyone watching the black streaks vanish into the upper atmosphere. Inside the alien flagship, alarms began to scream. The tactical officer's voice cracked with panic. "Those missiles! They are locking on us!" Schur's eyes widened. "Intercept them! Now!" But the missiles weren't ordinary. They split mid-flight, each breaking into a swarm of smaller, smart projectiles. The alien defense cannons managed to hit some, but too many made it through. The first impact shook the Vexar flagship so hard it knocked soldiers off their feet. The second ripped through one of its side engines. The third blew apart a drop pod bay, sending burning debris raining down onto the desert. From the ground, human soldiers cheered. Rachel just leaned back, one hand resting casually on her hip, her eyes locked on the main screen. Never bring a war to Earth unless you're ready to lose, or look stupid trying. Cole's voice came back over the comms. "Captain, they're falling back." He wasn't wrong. Some alien squads on the ground were retreating toward their dropships. Others stood frozen, their commanders yelling conflicting orders. But Rachel didn't look relieved. Her eyes narrowed as she scanned the data. Not all of them are leaving. Indeed, on one side of the map, a large alien strike team was breaking away from the chaos, heading not for their ships, but deeper into the desert, straight toward the location of one of Earth's most secret facilities. Rachel tapped her earpiece. Cole, take your best men and follow that group. Don't engage unless you have to. Cole hesitated. Why do I feel like I'm about to see something even crazier than these missiles? Rachel smirked. Because you know me too well. See, Oli chuckled and cut the line. His helmet cam showed him and his squad sprinting across the sand, weaving between burning alien wreckage. In the flagship above, Jour steadied himself against a railing. His second-in-command stepped closer. The missiles were unexpected, but we still have the upper hand if we... A sudden tremor interrupted him. The flagship shuddered again, but this time, it wasn't from missile strikes. It was something else. Something coming from... below. Back in the command room, Rachel saw it too. A strange energy spike rising from the desert floor near the alien strike team Cole was tailing. She didn't speak at first. She just stared. And then, slowly, her smile returned. Oh, they're about to find out. The feed from Cole's helmet suddenly flickered as the sand in front of him erupted upward, a massive metal shape pushing through. It wasn't human tech, and it wasn't alien tech they'd seen before. Cole's voice was shaky. Captain, what the hell is that? Rachel didn't answer right away. She just leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes glittering with something between excitement and... something else. Let's just say, the aliens aren't the only uninvited guests here today. The alien strike team had stopped, their weapons raised toward the emerging structure. It was still rising, massive, smooth, and covered in symbols neither side could read. The dust cleared just enough for the outline to show, a towering spire, glowing faintly from within. Cole's breath caught in the mic. Captain, is it dangerous? Rachel's smirk deepened. Depends. Do you think I'm dangerous? The spire kept rising. Dust poured down its smooth metal sides like sand sliding off glass. The glow pulsing from inside it grew stronger, shifting from pale blue to a deep, hot crimson. Every alien soldier froze, weapons still aimed but grips tightening. Even Cole's men stopped, instinctively lowering their rifles just a little. Captain, this thing's huge, Cole whispered through the comms. And I don't mean just in size, it feels wrong. Rachel watched the live feed on the big screen, her fingers drumming lightly on the edge of the war table. Her uniform had come loose at the collar, and she didn't bother fixing it. Wrong for who, Sergeant? Them or us? Cole didn't answer right away. Both. Above the desert, the Vexor flagship hovered lower, shadow stretching across the sand. General Jour narrowed his dark eyes. That structure, it is not human. His second-in-command tilted his head. Then, whose is it? The spire stopped rising with a sharp metallic click, standing so tall its tip disappeared into a haze of heat and dust. Symbols carved into its surface began to shift, glowing brighter, like something alive was moving under the skin of the metal. Cole's helmet cam zoomed in, trying to capture the details. One of his men muttered, I've seen tattoos that moved like that, but they were on a girl I'd rather not talk about. Cole smirked under his helmet. Focus, soldier, unless you want this thing to ask for your number. Rachel chuckled into the comm. Play nice, boys. You don't want to make a bad first impression. Suddenly, the spire's glow surged. A low hum rolled out across the desert, vibrating through bone and armor. Both human and alien soldiers flinched, some clutching at their helmets. The symbols split open like cracks, and beams of light shot into the sky. One beam hit the alien flagship directly. The shields flared bright green, then collapsed. Jour stumbled, gripping the edge of his command platform. What in the void is this? The tactical officer's voice was sharp with panic. It's not targeting weapons, sir. It's scanning us. Rachel's eyes narrowed. Scanning? She repeated softly. For what? Her question was answered seconds later. The spire's beams shifted, now lancing down toward the desert floor. Wherever they touched, the sand boiled away, revealing objects. Small metal capsules, dozens of them, No, hundreds. Cole's camera zoomed again. Each capsule had the same strange markings as the spire. Some were half buried, others already cracking open. Cole's breathing grew heavier. "Captain, you're not gonna like this. Something's coming out." One of the capsules split completely, and a figure stepped out. Humanoid in shape, but taller than any human or alien on the field. Its armor was sleek, curved, almost beautiful, but every movement carried lethal weight. The helmet was smooth, no visible face. When it turned its head toward the alien soldiers, every Vexar trooper it looked at stepped back. Rachel leaned in closer to the feed. "Well, that's new." The figure spoke, not in human language, not in alien language, but somehow, everyone heard it, in their own tongue. "This world is not yours to take." The voice was calm, deep, and it made the hair on the back of every neck stand up. The alien commander on the ground barked an order. Blaster fire lit up the desert, bolts slammed into the armored figure, and bounced away like raindrops on steel. Cole muttered, "I don't think they like being shot at." Rachel's lips curved into that dangerous smile again. "Good. Maybe they'll like what happens next even less." The armored figure raised one hand. A flash of light, not a beam, not a bullet, burst out, rippling through the air. Every alien weapon in a 100-foot radius shut down at once, smoking. Some Vexar soldiers tried to retreat. The figure stepped forward, faster than a human eye could follow, and in seconds, 3 aliens were lying unconscious in the sand. Cole's voice came back, tight. "Captain, are they on our side?" Rachel tilted her head, eyes locked on the screen. "That is the question, Sergeant." The figure now turned its faceless helmet toward Cole's squad and started walking directly toward them. Cole's men raised their rifles automatically. Rachel's voice cut in, slow and deliberate. "Hold your fire. Let's see what they want." The figure stopped 10 feet from Cole. It tilted its head, then reached up to its helmet. The armor shifted, unlocking with a hiss. The helmet began to lift. The helmet rose slowly, steam curling out from beneath it. Every soldier, human and alien, watched in complete silence. Then, the face appeared. Not metal, not alien. Human. A woman. Pale skin dusted with sand, sharp cheekbones, deep green eyes that seemed to look straight through whoever she faced. Her hair was dark, tied back in a tight braid, with a few loose strands sticking to her sweaty temple. Cole's jaw nearly dropped. "Captain, it's a human." Rachel's eyes narrowed. Not just any human. The woman looked at Cole for a long second. Then she smirked. The same kind of smirk Rachel wore when she was about to humiliate someone. "Took you long enough to call me." Cole glanced toward his camera, almost like he wanted to check if everyone had heard that right. Do I know you?" The woman chuckled, low and confident. "Not yet, but after today, you will." The alien commander, still on the field, barked orders in panic. More troops pushed forward, trying to surround the woman. She didn't move, until the first one stepped too close. Then she was gone, a blur, and the alien was slammed into the sand, weapon ripped away. Cole's squad just stood there, eyes wide. One of them muttered, "She fights like Captain Vega, but faster." In the command room, Rachel was watching every move. Her gaze was sharp, but there was something else there too. Recognition. The woman's voice carried across the battlefield, amplified not by tech, but by whatever force the spire had awoken. "This planet is mine to protect, and you've all been trespassing." The Vexar troops hesitated, glancing at each other. Even the ones in heavy armor seemed unsure. Rachel finally spoke into the comm. "Identify yourself." The woman turned her head toward the nearest camera. "Name's Alara, last survivor of the Archangel program." Rachel's hand froze halfway to her headset. The Archangel program was a classified project. So classified, even most generals didn't know what it was. Cole didn't bother hiding his confusion. "Captain, care to explain?" Rachel's voice was low. "No, and neither will she, unless she wants to." Alara ignored the chatter. Her attention was locked on the alien commander. You thought Earth was undefended. You thought we were weak. You thought we'd be easy to take. Her smile turned sharp. Do I look easy to you? The line hit Cole's squad like a gut punch, and even a couple of the aliens tilted their heads as if unsure how to process it. Before anyone could answer, Alara made her move. She charged forward, weaving between the alien line, each movement too fast for most eyes to track. Weapons shattered in her hands. Troops were thrown back like rag dolls. One alien managed to swing a heavy blade toward her. She caught it mid-swing, spun, and sent it flying into the sand like it weighed nothing. The Vexar flagship above opened fire, desperate to end the fight. Energy blasts tore through the desert, but every single one stopped inches from Alara, deflected by a shimmering red shield that wrapped around her like a second skin. Cole's voice came through the comm, half awe, half worry. Captain, if she's on our side, we win this war. If she's not... Rachel cut him off. If she's not, we don't live long enough to worry about it. The alien commander finally broke, shouting for a retreat. Dropships scrambled to collect whatever troops could still stand, but not all the aliens ran. A small group, armed differently, carrying strange equipment, broke away from the retreating line. They weren't heading for safety. They were heading straight for the spire. Rachel saw it instantly on the tactical map. Cole, cut them off! Cole sprinted forward with two of his men, but the alien squad was already planting something at the spire's base. A device. Black. Pulsing. Alara turned toward them, but before she could act, the device flared to life, and the spire's red glow flickered, dimmed, and then began to turn black. Rachel's stomach sank. That's not good. Cole's voice came in, breathless. Captain, what happens if the spire goes dark? Rachel didn't answer. She couldn't, because she didn't know. On the battlefield, Alara stepped closer to the device, her face tightening. She whispered something, too quiet for the mics, and then reached for it. The second her fingers touched the black metal, a shockwave blasted out in all directions. Sand flew. Humans staggered. Aliens screamed. When the dust cleared, Alara was gone. The battlefield was suddenly too quiet. The dust still hung in the air, but the center was empty. Where Alara had stood, there was only scorched sand and the smoking alien device. Cole blinked hard, scanning in every direction. Captain, she's gone. Just gone. Rachel's eyes locked on the feed. Her jaw was tight, but her voice stayed cool. Check the device, carefully. Cole's men approached it slowly. The black metal casing still pulsed, but the glow inside was gone. One soldier reached out to touch it. Don't! Rachel snapped through comms. Her tone was sharp enough to freeze him mid-motion. That thing's not dead. It's... thinking. Above them, the Vexar flagship pulled higher into the sky, putting distance between itself and the spire. General Jure was breathing heavily, mandibles twitching, in strange rhythm. They've activated the Sentinel, his tactical officer said grimly. If she's been removed from this field, they will try to reprogram her. Jure's eyes narrowed. No, they will succeed. Rachel was already moving. Her fingers flew across the war table controls, pulling up an energy trace from the blast that took Alara. The line spiked upward, sharp and clean. It hadn't dispersed into the air. It had tunneled, straight into orbit. Cole's voice came in, steady now. Captain, they took her. Rachel stopped, her eyes on the glowing line across her display. Her lips curled into something between a smirk and a threat. Then we take her back. One of the younger officers in the room spoke up. Ma'am, that's a Vexar flagship. Even our best birds can't get close without... Rachel cut him off with a single raised finger. Without what? Without making them regret every decision they've ever made? She turned to the side screen, opening a direct line to the hidden hangar under the base. Prep the Phantom. The officer hesitated. The Phantom hasn't been used in... Then it's about time she had some fun, Rachel interrupted, her voice carrying that dangerous flirt that could make orders sound like dares. On the field, Cole's men were securing the spire. The black device had stopped pulsing, but every few seconds the metal twitched like it was breathing. "Captain, should we destroy it?" Cole asked. Rachel stared at it for a long moment on her screen. "No, we might need it, if we want her back." Above them, alien dropships were circling, not to attack, but to monitor. Jur's voice came over an open channel, his tone mocking. "Impressive show, humans, but your greatest weapon is now ours. We will make her better." Rachel leaned down toward the mic, her voice slow and sweet like poison. "Careful, General. You might not like what she does when she wakes up in your bed." Even Cole's squad snorted at that, but Jur didn't answer. The channel cut off. Rachel stood tall, hands on the edge of the table. Her eyes scanned the faces of her team. They think she's a weapon. They think she's ours because of what she can do. They don't understand. She's ours because of who she is. The room went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. This wasn't about hardware. It was personal. 30 minutes later, the Phantom was ready. Its sleek black hull shimmered under the hangar lights, its edges bending the light itself, almost invisible. Only a handful of humans had ever flown it, and most of them weren't alive anymore. Rachel walked the length of the ship, running her hand along the curve of its wing. "You ready to make some boys cry?" she murmured. The tech chief raised an eyebrow. "Talking to me or the ship, Captain?" She smirked. "Both." As Rachel suited up, Cole's voice came over the secure channel. "You're going after her yourself?" "Damn right," she replied, snapping her gloves into place. "You think I'm letting the aliens have all the fun?" The Phantom's engines purred to life, silent but powerful. The hangar doors opened, revealing the desert night sky. The Vexar flagship hung there like a black scar against the stars. Rachel slid into the pilot's seat, eyes locked on her target. "Let's go get our girl." The Phantom shot upward, vanishing into the dark. But as it climbed, Rachel's sensors pinged something unexpected. A second energy trail, faint but undeniable, leading away from the flagship. Whoever had taken Alara wasn't entirely Vexar. Rachel's lips parted in a whisper only she heard. "Well, this just got interesting." The Phantom slipped through the blackness of space like a ghost. Rachel sat alone in the cockpit, her eyes locked on the faint glimmer of the Vexar flagship. Every few seconds, the other trail, the one leading away, pulsed faintly on her screen. Two possible paths, one led to the alien ship, one led to whoever else had taken Alara. She didn't like not knowing. But she liked the idea of someone else having Alara even less. "Sorry, boys," she murmured to herself, "but I'm cutting in line." She pushed the Phantom faster. The stealth plating swallowed her heat signature. No alarms went off in the Vexar ship until she was already close enough to touch it. Rachel swung the Phantom under the flagship's belly, locking to a maintenance port. Her boots hit the metal with a soft thud as she stepped out, magnetic clamps in her soles keeping her steady in the low gravity. Inside, the corridors were dark and narrow. She moved with the kind of confidence that made soldiers follow orders without question. Except she was alone. Every few steps, her mind flashed back to Alara's smirk, and the unspoken challenge in it. It wasn't just a rescue, it was personal now. She heard voices up ahead, guttural alien tones. Rachel crouched, slipping to the side, watching as two Vexar guards passed. Her hand brushed the pistol on her thigh, but she let them go. Quiet was better. The energy signal grew stronger the deeper she went. Finally, she reached a large chamber and froze. Alara was there, suspended in the air by glowing restraints, her armor stripped down to its inner layer. A form-fitting black suit that looked more like temptation than technology. Her head was down, hair falling forward, but she was breathing. Standing around her were 3 Vexar officers, their claws dancing over a console. Rachel couldn't hear everything, but the words "mind key" and "reprogram" sent a cold spike down her spine. Rachel stepped out of the shadows. "I wouldn't touch her, unless you want to lose the hand." The aliens spun, weapons raising, but they were too slow. Rachel's first shot hit the nearest in the chest. The second took the console out in a shower of sparks. The restraints holding Alara flickered, then failed, dropping her into Rachel's waiting arms. Alara groaned softly, blinking up at her rescuer. "You took your time." Rachel smirked, helping her to her feet. "You know me. I like to make an entrance." The aliens were regrouping fast. Rachel passed Alara a sidearm. "Think you can walk and shoot?" Alara's smirk matched hers. "Sweetheart, I can run and flirt at the same time." They moved together, weaving through the corridor as alien reinforcements closed in. Every shot Rachel fired was clean and precise. Every move Alara made was pure speed and strength. It was almost fun. Finally, they reached the Phantom's docking port. Rachel slapped the hatch control. The ship opened like it had been waiting for her. But before they could board, an alarm howled through the flagship. The entire corridor shook. Through the narrow viewport, Rachel saw another ship appear, sleek, unknown, and definitely not Vexar. And it was targeting them. Rachel cursed under her breath. "That second trail!" Alara's voice was calm, even with the red lights flashing around them. "They're here for me, and they won't stop." The new ship fired a warning shot across the Vexar hull, blasting debris into space. Rachel grabbed Alara's arm and pulled her into the Phantom. "Then let's make them work for it." The Phantom detached and peeled away from the flagship. Rachel's fingers flew over the controls, twisting them into a dive. The unknown ship followed instantly. In the co-pilot seat, Alara strapped in, glancing sideways. "You trust me?" Rachel didn't look away from the controls. "Do I look like I'm the trusting type?" Alara grinned, flipping a hidden switch on the panel. "Then let's have some fun." The Phantom's engines screamed to life, and the ship shot forward, spinning into a wild corkscrew. The alien flagship and the unknown vessel blurred behind them. Ahead was open space, and whatever madness came next. Rachel felt the adrenaline hit her hard. Alara's laughter filled the cockpit, and for the first time since this started, Rachel wondered if saving her was the easy part.